Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United draw 0-0 with Leeds. Can we blame fatigue? I don't know, but the first big thing I want to say, Glazers out, Glazers out, Glazers out. Don't let anything... Look, football's football and what's going on in the bigger picture is very, very big. And I'm going to say, get rid of McFred. We can't, the problem's McFred. They're not good enough. But look, in the grand scheme of things, I take being in the Championship for a season to get rid of the Glazers. So, and I think McFred would do quite well there. So I'm not saying, I just want to first of all say, it's great to have football back and it's great to be focusing on football matters, but don't forget the bigger picture. Don't allow your footballing opinions to take you away from what really matters, which is what's going on upstairs and getting the Glazers out. So definitely Glazers out. Let's not move away from that. But in relation to the football, we want to talk about the football, of course. Player ratings, link in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Put a star next to your man of the match and vote for those. We'll go through those in a few minutes' time. Very interested to see what some of your scores are on some of the players today as well, because I think it's going to be very interesting. But could you put Man United's performance down today to the fatigue of this week? I'm tired. I'm sure you're tired. It's been an emotional roller coaster. Is that an excuse for Manchester United's performance today? In some ways, you could. It was a very lacklustre Manchester United performance, and maybe that is an excuse. Having said that, I would also play both sides here. It could be a reason for the performance today, and maybe Solskjaer will say it's been a difficult week, and we take it on board, and we move to Roma on Thursday. But what I would say is, even if it was fatigue, it's not dissimilar to the way we've played a lot of times this season, has it? I actually felt there was a goal in that for Manchester United and a 1-0 win. Another win by 1 goal. We just didn't get the goal today. If Dan James hadn't messed up that pass from Greenwood to Bruno, I think that would have been a goal, 1-0. I don't think Leeds looked like they were going to score. So I think we missed an opportunity to nick that game 1-0. We didn't. It's a 0-0. So you could put it down to fatigue, but ultimately, I think we've played like this a lot this season. Ronald says, could we sell McFred? No one's going to buy them. We're stuck. Ollie's got to take some responsibility here today. I think at half-time, today the worst man on the pitch was Ollie. Fantastic performance by the players. 80 minutes to make subs. McFred obsession is a killer, says Magic Eye. Look, Magic, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's what it's all about. For me, my opinion on that is that we've seen too much of this season. We're very good at keeping a clean sheet, and I don't think Leeds look like they were going to score. And the reason we don't look like we're going to concede is because we play with a back 6. McFred stay in front of the back 4. We don't concede many chances. But we then isolate our front 4, and we don't create many chances. And most of the chances we had were in the last 10 minutes when both teams sort of went for it, or long diagonals from Lindelof to get Rashford in. There was very little, apart from that Greenwood pass to Bruno that we messed up because Dan James got in the way. There was very little chance creation. Their keeper was very rarely tested in that game, and Dean Henderson could have been in his pyjamas. I mean, he had a couple of shots at him, but they were straightforward. So not enough creativity from Manchester United would be my criticism. Not enough creativity. So you then have to take a search to find why we didn't create chances. And we don't create chances because the same problem is always the same. I thought Fred did quite well today. I thought McTominay didn't. You might have thought McTominay did well today and Fred didn't. But ultimately, it's not even their fault. I think even if they played absolutely brilliant, they wouldn't pass the ball quick enough to the forwards. It's just not in them. I highlighted at half-time that McTominay was running away from our box and had passes in front of him and did some side pass to Fred where he nearly lost the ball. With a minute to go, McTominay's 30 yards out and you're thinking, hit it, you've got a good shot, and he plays it to the right. There's a lack of confidence, definitely a lack of confidence in that midfield to express themselves. And I don't think it's like because people are getting on their back, because there's no fans in the bloody ground. They're playing in empty stadiums and they can't express themselves. I don't know why that is, but the problem is, whatever you think about McTominay and Fred, some of you might really like them. I personally think McTominay suited better playing further forward, which he never does. I don't think Fred actually is a good CDM. I think he's a very energetic player, but I don't think he's a good CDM. But Paul Pogba's better than both of them. Put Pogba into the midfield. If you're going to play Pogba for half an hour, put him in the midfield. Don't put him on the wing. And then the Donny van der Beek substitution for 2 minutes. I mean, I'm not frustrated about it because we've seen it constantly this season. But Donny van der Beek played well against Burnley. He played well against Burnley. For 88 minutes, we play absolutely crap against Leeds. and Donny van der Beek sat on the bench to come on for 2 minutes. It doesn't make any sense. Like, he's 23. He's an international. He's played in the Champions League and he's played well for Manchester United. And he gets 2 minutes in a game like that. I don't mind, if we're 4-0 up today and he gets 2 minutes, you go, well, look, you take your 2 minutes, everyone's played really well, but we didn't play well and he gets 2 minutes. That's the thing. He played well last week when he came on. He doesn't start today, probably a little bit unlucky, but then he only gets 2 minutes in a game where we've played like that. And the problem for me is glaringly obvious. If you want to play McTominay, fine. If you want to play Fred, fine. But stop playing both of them. It really makes us very, very dull to watch. Why take so long to make changes? It's beyond frustrating, says KB. We don't create chances because of the manager. Simple as that. He's scared of changing anything. It's just not the Glazers we need out. It's Ollie too. Well, I disagree with this, Ben. I'm not going to have this. This week's been really, really hard. It's really important that we stayed united. Don't chuck Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ollie out into Glazers out. It's just beyond. You've got to be better than that. You can't do that. We can't start having that argument because they would love for you to focus on Ollie out because then they'll sack him, get a new manager in, and you'll be like, well, let's see what happens here. Don't fall into the trap of the Glazers. They're very clever people. They will love you to be Ollie out. But in relation to the game today, and a lot of games this season, this is not reactionary from me. This is not reactionary at all. I've been saying this a lot this season. The problem with Manchester United is the midfield pivot of McTominay and Fred, or Matic and Fred, or McTominay and Matic. It is sterile. It is static. It spends most of its time just protecting the centre-backs. It doesn't move the ball forward. You saw the frustration of Bruno today. I think you saw it from Rashford as well. They're frustrated. The ball's not getting forward enough. And when it does come forward, teams are organised because we don't move the ball. McTominay and Fred, I think Flex said it before the game, they're very energetic players and they're going to put a shift in for you. And they probably help you not to concede goals. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. We don't concede many goals. And we don't. And they're a big part in why we don't concede many goals. But they're a big part in why we don't play good football. Because for all the good work they do defensively, and some might disagree, some might agree, but for all the good work they do defensively, they slow us down and they don't provide creativity going forward. And somebody made a great comment in the live chat of the watch along. It's amazing that we've got Michael Carrick as one of our key coaches and we play like that in the midfield. Michael Carrick, for me, was one of the best holding midfielders in Premier League history. And yet, we're playing with two who don't even do the job one Michael Carrick could do. It's really surprising because, we have got that. No, Dan James was crap all game. He should never play for United again, says Anthony Rudolph. And I don't think we played that poorly. Defence lacked that incisive pass, but we need to acknowledge how tough Leeds defended today, says JB. Dean, can't blame it on fatigue. Rashford's been dead the last few weeks. He needs to go under 23s. His head's too big nowadays, says Dean. I mean, I thought Leeds played well. I thought they defended well, but I think we would have beaten them if we'd moved the ball forward quicker. And this is not about Leeds. This is about, Dan James messed up the best chance of the game, let's be honest. That pass from Greenwood to Bruno, he would have been through one-on-one. But I just think that this is a bigger problem. We don't move the ball quick enough from back to front, and it seems like we've been saying it for 2 years. We've got to move the ball quicker from back to front. If Pogba's fit, Pogba's got to play in the midfield. I think what Ollie's problem is, in fairness to Ollie, and I'll always try and defend him where I can, I think the problem is he thinks that if he plays Pogba in the midfield, we'll concede more chances. But we will. But we'll create more. Our problem at the moment is we play McFred or Matic and Fred or whatever. It's very, very defensive. And we don't concede goals. But because we're defensive, we don't create goals. I would rather draw 3-3 than draw 0-0. Because it would be entertaining. And is that not what Manchester United's identity is? Entertaining. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a bloody striker. He's not going to score 4 goals off the bench in that side. He's not going to score 4 goals in a month in that side. So I think we are playing a certain way to protect the centre-backs. We've been doing that for 18 months. And I think he's worried to put Pogba or Van der Beek in there because he knows they won't get the protection, so therefore we might concede more. But with Pogba or Donny van der Beek in there, you'd create more. And I think we're going down the defensive approach, and we've seen that. We've won a lot of games by 1 goal this season. We've had a few draws. We're quite a defensive side, and I'd like to say I would like to see the removal of McTominay and Fred from that team as a pair. One of them I don't mind playing, but as a pair I don't like it. Personally, I'd like to see Fred and Pogba. I think that works. That could work. Ollie's appointment represents the Glazers' lack of ambition, says Benjamin. The job McFred were doing was doing alone by one guy, and his name is Calvin Phillips. We need to buy Calvin Phillips and Rafinha from Leeds ASAP, says Ronald Jacob. I would just say in relation to the starting lineup, I didn't see many dissenting voices at the starting lineup, and I certainly didn't dissent to it too much. I almost felt that today could be quite a defining point. I'm going to do the player ratings now, so 1 minute warning. Player ratings are coming in. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Star on Man of the Match. You've got a minute to go and whiz through those on the website while I just say this. This team played very well against Leeds in December. The best performance we've seen from Dan James this season, and the best performance we've seen from McTominay and Fred this season, was Leeds at Old Trafford. I felt Ollie had a right to give him a chance again. He said I picked Dan James because he played well against Leeds. You normally get a lot of space against Leeds. So he was right to play them. And if they had played well, I would have said, well done, but they need to do it against other teams other than Leeds, because Leeds do give you space. What did we learn today? Well, the Leeds game at Old Trafford must have been a one-off, because they didn't even play well against them. Too many games for probably the last 3 months. I haven't really seen a McFred good game. There are probably one or two, but I haven't seen one. And Dan James, not good again today. So it's a step backwards for those 3 players in a sense. Although I thought Fred played okay. I did think Fred played okay. But I'm talking about the combination. And the Dan James thing just didn't work. So I don't blame Ollie for doing it. I think the evidence was there to do it. But it didn't work. That's what we learned today. It didn't work, and I wouldn't expect to see Dan James starting in an important game for Man United again this season after that performance. To be honest with you, but Dan James is by the by for me. For me, it's really I don't want to. We've got to, games are won and lost in the midfield, and we're not getting older in the midfield. I think Bruno and Greenwood, especially Greenwood, but I think Bruno as well and Greenwood, as I said, they showed a tendency today to have a good game, especially Greenwood. If we could have got Greenwood the ball more, in more space, I think he was set to have a good game, but we just didn't do it. Do we have to concede to win? No. Urgency, creativity, says Joseph. And Pogba and Cavani should have been on at half time for James and wanted McFred to slow to change. I agree with that, Rob. I agree with that. I think we should have made changes a lot sooner than we did. What did McFred came on? Sorry, Donny came on at 88. I think Cavani came on at 80. And Pogba came in at about 73. Too late. I mean, 17 minutes for Pogba. It's not enough. What's your thought on Rashford's long-term career? How long can he keep this up? Says Matt Rose. And honestly, United could effortlessly win the Europa League. The only thing in our way is Ollie and the choices he makes, says LCD. Well, let's do the player ratings on that one. What was my thoughts on Rashford's injury? Well, I'll talk about Rashford as we go through on this one. Okay, Dean Henderson, give him a 6 today. 5.9 from you. Literally had nothing to do. There was a couple of shots at him, but they were P-rollers. They had no power in it. So again, Dean Henderson, a 6, an average 6. It had, it's not his fault. Nothing to do. I don't think Leeds looked like they were going to score all day. Wan-Bissaka gets a 7 from me. I thought Wan-Bissaka would be a contender for man of the match. I thought Wan-Bissaka played well. He was he got forward well, but more importantly, defensively, he was sound. They tried to attack him, actually. They tried to attack our Wan-Bissaka side, which is what a few teams have done recently because Shaw's been playing so well. And I thought he did really well. I thought Calvin Phillips was man of the match across the whole game as well. I just seen him highlighted on Sky here. I think he was the man of the match. Victor Lindelof 6, 5.9. I mean, not tested. A couple of nice longer balls, but I mean, look, the centre backs. As I said, I sometimes think our centre backs belong in a David Attenborough wildlife show. They are a protected species, and they do get well fed. They do get well protected, and there was just nothing going on around them today. So it'd be a 6 for Maguire as well for me. I mean, they didn't do anything wrong. They did nothing wrong, but they were not tested because they're so protected. Defensively, I thought we were pretty solid today, but I think we were too defensive at times. Luke Shaw, I'd give him a 7 as well. Same as Wan-Bissaka. I thought he played decent. Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw just looks. He just looks so good, Luke Shaw, doesn't he? He just looks so good on the ball. That stamina's always been there. He's on set pieces as well, defensively solid. But again, I think we could have utilised Shaw a little bit more if we got forward more as a team, but we just didn't. We didn't. Fred for me probably a 6 today. I wouldn't go that low. I do look. It's all about opinion, and this is what I love. It's all about opinion, and people will have different opinions. I personally thought that Fred today wasn't a 5. I've given him a 6. I thought he was an average Fred performance. The thing I'd knock him down from a 7 is that the passing is just awful. The passing's not good enough. But he was energetic. He broke the play up quite a few times. He stuck to his position. The stamina was there. The tenacity was there. But he is a contributor in the lack of the ball moving forward. Fred can have the best game in the world, but he still won't play the ball forward quick enough. And he hasn't got the passing range we need. And neither is McTominay. So they drag each other down in a sense. But no, I don't think Fred was terrible today. I thought McTominay was a 5. I mean, you've given him a 4. I think people are a bit more pissed off than me today, to be fair, by the looks of it. I'm being more generous. But no, he's below average McTominay. There seems to be a lack of confidence in his play. He plays, and I don't know why there's no confidence. Like, there's no fans in the ground. Like, there's no pressure other than playing for Manchester United. But there seems to be a lack of confidence. I mean, I actually think he can pass the ball better than he does, but his passing was poor. Phillips dominated him, especially. And there was a couple of times, especially the last couple of minutes, where he could have got a shot off and he didn't. So I like McTominay as a box-to-box. I think McTominay causes most damage in the opposition's box, but he spends too much time on the edge of our box, babysitting our centre-backs. But he wasn't good today, McTominay. And I'm struggling to think of how many good games McTominay's had this year, really, at the moment. I just think the McFred thing doesn't work. Maybe McTominay and Pogba, I don't know, but McTominay and Fred just doesn't work. It's a bit like McTominay and Matic. It just doesn't work. Bruno probably gets a 6 for me. 5.5 is fair. I think that Bruno is a victim of not getting enough of the ball. But having said that, I think he got very frustrated today. Frustration's a good thing when you end up scoring a goal, but I think he got too frustrated today. I know that Dan James pissed him off for running through when he would have been 1-on-1, and I think some of Bruno's passing and link-up play was really good, but there's just not enough of it. I think that's the problem with Bruno. He's not scoring at the moment. He's not getting assists at the moment, and that is a problem because he was. I don't know that Bruno gets Player of the Year anymore. If you'd have asked me in January, I said he's going to walk it. I think since January something's gone wrong, and but ultimately, is it surprising it's going wrong when we're not moving the ball fast enough? We're not creating spaces. How's your number 10 going to play consistently well when you're not creating enough space? So, yeah, that's that is an issue. I don't think that. Dan James for me, I'll give him a generous 5, 3.5. Yeah, he's below average, Dan. I thought first half he put a shift in. Look, people get offended when I say this. He's a limited player. He's limited. He's limited in the sense that he'll put a shift in and he'll always work hard. He'll track back, he'll do the job. He's a system player. But his passing isn't up to it. His decision making isn't up to it. And if he's not getting in behind to get a shot off or a cross, he's struggling. And Lee Alioski, or whatever his name is, he pocketed him really today. Dan James didn't cause him any problems. The pace of Dan James, we never saw any meep today. We didn't see it. He got in the way of that Bruno chance, which was just a lack of football intellect. And also there was Rashford did really well to play him in, and he takes a shot. He's just a bit of a limited player. I think he's a mid-table player. He's not a top 4 player, Dan James. He's a bench player for a top 4 team. So he could have had a goal today. I think a top 4 player would have hit that Rashford pass first time. I think a top 4 player would have dummied it and let Bruno take it. But no. Rashford gets a 6. I knew people had marked Rashford down, but I actually thought Rashford did okay today. I mean, I've waited to answer that question about Rashford. Glazers have hinted at their selling price. Do you think there is someone in the UK who can afford the price tag and will make the move, says Mike? I don't know. I don't know on that, Mike. I don't know. Rashford today, he's playing within himself. He's definitely carrying an injury, but I still think he's one of our most likely players to score a goal. What I would say about Rashford today is that there was numerous times where I thought he's going to hit this, and he did. And I think Rashford's got that fake shot in him, you know, where he goes to shoot but then turns and goes the other way. I think it's like he didn't do it today. And I'd like to see that happen. But we've got one of the longest unbeaten away runs in history at the moment. So Solskjaer's smiling. He's on the screen and he's smiling. And, Glazer's out. That's what it needs to be. But I wasn't unimpressed with Rashford today. Mason Greenwood getting a 6. I mean, this is the brilliance of football, I suppose. This is the brilliance of different opinions, isn't it? I actually thought Greenwood was our most lively player. I thought he worked really, really hard, and that's not a reason to give him a higher score. But I thought he was coming deep. I thought he was going from right to left. He was strong. His link-up play was good. He got a couple of shots off. He never went missing. He never goes missing. And he's 19. He never goes missing. He always wants the ball. He's always showing for it. He played a lovely ball in that would have been a one-on-one for Bruno, and Dan James messed it up. I think for the age he is and the players he's got around him, he was a leader on the pitch today. He didn't go hiding. He wasn't lacking confidence. And I think you've got to big up a lad like that. You know, generational talent is what I call him, and I think he is. And maybe he didn't show that generational talent today, but he definitely showed his ability to not go hiding. He always wants the ball. I actually think Mason Greenwood's probably going to be my man of the match. I thought he was really, really good. I don't get the hate on Greenwood, really. Pogba, give him a 6. Not his fault. Too late. Came on too late. The problem is, if you bring a player on for 15 minutes, I think it's too late, because you've got to get up to the pace of the game. So I think Pogba gets a 6. Cavani, I'll give him a 6 again. Way too late. Way too late. Into the last 10 minutes, what's he supposed to do? Donny van de Beek, 2 minutes. What's the bloody point? What is the point? You cannot... all three of those substitutions, Pogba, Cavani and van de Beek, terribly late. They're all too late. In a game like that, why wait that late? Like, we could have won that game and we just didn't. So I don't know why the substitutions were late. Ollie, for me, it's a 5, 3.5, probably a little bit harsh, but he was below average today. I mean, Leeds away, it's a big game for United, and maybe people don't understand that Leeds is a big game, and they will have been fired up not to lose that, and there was a lot of fouls in it, but I wouldn't go with that as low as a 3.5, but I definitely would give it a 5. I thought the substitutions were too late, and I think we could have won that game. I think we should have won that game. We never looked like conceding, and we should have created more chances to win the game. But you're not going to create more chances if you keep shielding your defence like we do. It's the back 6 again. It's bubble wrapping the centre-backs. Both our full-backs played well. McFred in front of them, just too defensive. I think Leeds were there. It was a 1-0 game. It was not done. I don't think it was ever going to be a classic, but we definitely should have scored today and we would have won it. So I think that Ollie gets a 5 for me on that one. Your player ratings, let's see who your man of the match is. I'm going to go with Greenwood. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to be moved by your opinions. I'm going to go with my own. That's what it should be all about. Well done. I'm happy with that though. I tell you what, smash a like on the video for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's had a tough season. And I'm really glad that you voted for him, because for me it was Wan-Bissaka, Greenwood or Shaw. And I'm actually really glad that you got Wan-Bissaka as your man of the match, because he's had it tough. He's been up and down this season. And I think that'll do him the world of good that you're showing him some support. So big up to Wan-Bissaka. I'll always bow down to democracy. You voted for him as your man of the match. Funnily enough, Luke Shaw was second man of the match with 29%, and Mason Greenwood only got 19%, and then it was scattered around the others. So, but Wan-Bissaka there, I'm obviously in the minority with that, but Wan-Bissaka man of the match. Big up to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Well done to him. So please smash a like on the video for that. And I just want to say as well, get Glazers out. That's a game of football. I've enjoyed the match reaction. I've enjoyed the chat. I'm looking forward to the game against Roma. I'm enjoying getting Man United back. I'm not enjoying seeing the same old problems. You know, the McFred issue is huge. We're not moving the ball forward enough. We're still a little bit too defensive. Ollie's still making subs too late. The same problems we had before the European Super League, still here now. In a way, I like that because it feels familiar. It feels consistent. This is our club. This is our team. This is our manager. And I wouldn't expect us to come out and play like prime Barcelona just because we've had the Super League problem. We are the same team we were before. And in some ways, I like that familiarity. But the problems are still there as well. But don't let that distract you from the real prize. Whether you want Ollie in or out in the future, that's fine. Whether you want rid of centre-backs or you want to sign players in the summer, that's fine. Absolutely fine. But, please remember, do not go off target. Do not start throwing Ollie into the Glazers. Do not start talking about transfers and forgetting about the Glazers. There's lots of things still to do. Glazers out. Smash a like on that video. Glazers out. Glazers out. Keep it in your mind. We've got to keep working on that. Look, I've dropped the link in the video description. It's the second paragraph. It says live Carabao Cup final. I'm going straight on to there. I'm going to be live in 3 minutes. So it's hectic today. But if you're watching the Carabao Cup final, I've got it on my TV screen. I'm going to have a quick toilet break and I'm going to be live on there on That's Football so we can continue the chat there. Man City against Spurs, live watch along. Join me over on That's Football. I'll see you in a minute.